Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how I have made this side shaker card. So basically you've got the shaker bit on the side there, and then you just open it up and you've got your birthday card or whatever card you've got. Okay, it's quite a fun card. Now I saw something like this, it didn't have the shaker bit, but it was the same kind of shape, just didn't have the shaker bit on the side. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting idea, maybe we could put a shaker bit on the side. It might have been done before, I don't know, but I just saw the flat bit, and then the way it opened up like this, and then thought, oh, we could do a shaker with that on the side. So that was, yeah. So it might have been done before, I don't know, but I didn't do it because I'd seen it. I've done it because I just thought about, oh, that'd be good, cool to do. So I've done this one, which is using the Heltz Couple Ditch sort of seaside, I can't remember what it's called, Beach Life, I think it was called, something like that anyway, from a couple of years ago. And then I've also used this one. Unfortunately, I put too many sequins in my shaker side, so it doesn't shake very much. So be careful of that. Yeah, and that's just using the Paper Boutique flowers. Okay, so let's get on with it. So you will need a few bits and bobs. Let's move these bits out of the way. So I'll go through everything. Actually, no, I'll do it as we go along. Right, so you will need a base piece of card that is 5 inches by 10¼ inches. Ignore this score line. My piece of card already had a score line on it. You will also need another piece of card that is 5 by 7. The total dimensions of this card, once it's finished, is 5 by 7. So it will fit into, when you buy 5 by 7 cards that come with envelopes, it will fit in those normal envelopes, okay? Make sure your actual card blanks that you get are, so your envelope will have to be slightly bigger than 5 by 7, is basically what I'm saying. So you need to get your scoreboard out. And on your larger piece, your 5 by 10¼ you are going to score at 5 inches, at 7 inches, at 7 1/8, at 8 5/8, and at 8 3/4. Okay, so that was 5 inches, 7 inches, 7 1/8, 8 5/8, and 8 3/4. Okay, so then what you're going to do is if you just go ahead and fold and burnish all of those lines. Now I've gone and done it again. Okay, so you want to fold and burnish everything. Now I've got a slight texture on the front of this, so I want that to be on the front. Okay, which means I need to fold everything as a valley fold this way. Okay, so there we have our card all scored and folded, and I've folded it all inwards like that, so it all folds up. Because what's going to happen is this front section is going to literally fold in, and you're going to end up with like that. Okay, then this bit here is where you have your ribbon. So if you can see, or washi tape. Okay, and then that bit will open up. So what we're going to do now is on here, so with this folded like this, if you get a pencil, and on the front, so this is going to be your front panel. So if I bring my card in a second. So this part here, where that greeting is going to be this bit, okay? So just write on there, front, because then you know that's where you're going to be sticking your pattern papers. Because there's a lot of kind of what's right on one bit is not right for the other side of the card. It's quite confusing if you don't write on stuff. So with this folded up like that, you then want to, on here, put an X. Because this is where you're going to cut your aperture out of. Okay, so here's my aperture cut out. And I'm going to cut it out from this side. Okay, so just put a little X just on the front of that. Okay, right, so now what we want to do is we now want to cut our aperture out. Now, I did not have a die that was that shape. Okay, so what I used was a rectangular die. Now, I'm going to use a slightly different one today, but it's a tag die, basically. It's just a tag die. And obviously, it's the right width, but it's not the right length. Okay, and it's also got these fancy edges. And I'm actually going to use those. I've for this one, the sail away one, the two little characters in a boat, I did use this die, but I actually used the top bit to make a just a nice square edge. But for this card, I'm actually going to try it with this. You could also, if you haven't got anything wide enough, but you've got like some small circle dies, you could use that and just have little circular windows going up. That would also look quite nice. But I'm going to use the edge here. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to take the die, we're going to put it on so it's centrally left and right, and so that you've got, I mean, it's going to be, you need really about a 1/4 of an inch gap all the way around. So 1/4 of an inch here, 1/4 of an inch there, at least a 1/4 here, at least a 1/4 there. Okay, so I'm going to just put that on now, and I'm going to stick it into place. A bit of washi. So as you can see, it's cut that top bit round, and it's not quite long enough. So now what I'm going to do is take my die, turn it round, and then I'm going to just line up those edges, slot it back in, line up those edges, and just slide it down till it's where I want it to be at the bottom. So I'm going to do it to there, and then washi tape it back into position, and then we're going to run it through again. So that gives you then your die cut window, and I quite like the fancy edge. It's quite a nice touch. Right, so now what we need to do is, with it the way we had it, so we had it with the front, the word front on the front, and then we rolled this up and we drew a little cross and we've die cut out, so you know that's the front. If you open that back out again, so now you've just got this right side, and this is the wrong side, okay, so I know it's confusing. So where you've written front, basically, this is why you write front. So where you've written front, just roll everything out straight again. So here where your aperture is, you need to put some red tape round and then stick an acetate panel on. And your acetate panel needs to be just short of what your main panel is. So your panel's 1.5 inches wide. So I would make your acetate panel 1 1/4 or just over 1 1/4 inches. And then you want to do it by about 4 3/4 in length, okay? Just kind of see, I mean, I've cut one here. Yep, that fits, that's fine. Okay, so that's what you want to do. So then what you want to do is put some red tape round and then stick your acetate panel down. Right, so if you have stuck it down, you end up with any tape like I have, just peeking out the side of the acetate. Just take an anti-static bag or a bit of talcum powder and a bit of cotton wool and just dab over the top of where your stickiness is. And then any white, residue that's left, you can just go over with a tissue or something, and just, or a cloth, and just wipe that off the acetate. Because what that does, it just gets rid of the stickiness on the tape that's exposed, which means your sequins aren't going to stick to it. Okay, so once you've done that, you now need to add your foam tape. So your foam tape is going to get stuck at the top and only at the bottom. Okay, so just at the top and the bottom. You don't need to worry about the sides because you've already got card that is going to be there. Make sure that your foam tape is about the width of your panel. And if you've got wide tape like mine is, I've got 1/2 inch. I only need 1/4 inch, so I don't need 1/2 inch. So you can just cut it in half. Little tip for cutting foam tape with scissors: if you wipe your scissors with baby wipes before you cut your foam tape, then the foam tape won't stick to the scissors. Okay, so there we go. So that's my foam tape in position and my acetate on even. Okay, so there's my foam tape there and there at the bottom there. Right, so next what we want to do is we're now going to add red tape in the relevant places. So what you want to do is you are going to add red tape. If you turn this over, you're going to add red tape all the way around the outside of here and all the way around the outside of here. Okay, so that's your red tape panel. And notice I've done it on the opposite side. So this is the right side for my acetate window because I can see through it. There's no foam tape on this side, okay? But it's sort of like the wrong side in a way. You got rights and wrong sides here, so just, you know, but that's where you put it. If you turn your card back over again, so we're back onto this side, so this is your front where it says front again. On this bit here is where you want to stick a panel that's the same size as your acetate window. So again, you want it about a 1 1/4 by 4 3/4 inches, and you're just going to stick that onto there. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to get a mat and a pattern panel for over this side. So your mat is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and your pattern is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and you're just going to stick those down. Okay, so once you've done that, you now want to sort out what sequins you're going to put in. Okay, so you need to choose your sequins. I'm going to go for this blue mix that I've got. Now you don't want to overfill it basically. So I would just put in a few, go easy, and just spread them around. I would say that's probably enough because you've only got 1/8 of an inch depth. I reckon that's probably about right, maybe a couple more. That'll do. You also want to make sure when you first put them in that they're nicely spread out and they're not all bunched up, because I think that's the mistake that I made on that other one. Okay, so once you've done that, you're then going to take off the backing of your foam tape carefully, making sure you don't dislodge your sequins. And you're going to very carefully fold this panel over and stick it down like that. Now be aware, you've still got a loose edge here, so your sequins can still come out, okay? So just stick that down like that, top and bottom. And then when you've done that, peel off your red tape backing. And then fold the right hand side of your card over the top. So this bit here is going to stick to this piece here. So we're going to fold it over like that and stick it down. And then if we flip the whole thing over, give it a good press down, there's your shaker window, and it's sealed at the top, it's sealed at the bottom, and it's sealed at the sides with cardboard. So it's quite a nice, I quite like that shaker window. I think it's quite a nice shaker window. So now what we need to do is add a bit of ribbon or washi tape or a strip of scrap paper down this section here. So if I show you these other ones, so you can see here I've used this pink glitter washi tape on this one, and on this one I've used some Rick Rack, and I'm going to use that same Rick Rack again today on this card. Okay, so I've stuck it down the front, and then I'm just going to fold the edges over and stick them behind. I've already got tape here, so what I'm going to do is just stick them, peel the backing back, stick that down, and then I'll just put another piece of tape over the top of that, just so I don't end up with a little gap at the top. Like that. So now you want to take all of this off, all of the backing off. Okay, so that whole section's sticky. Turn it over, and then you need to bring in a 5x7 piece of card. So this card's just literally 5x7. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to marry up, so the whole of this bit here is not sticky. It's only this section here that's sticky. So I'm going to marry up this side with, and also you've got the advantage of the fact you've got that fold in there anyway. So I'm going to marry it up with the edges and then stick the whole lot down. So let's marry that up, get nice and straight, and then stick this side down. Okay, and then that's your card, and then we just need to add the front topper. So I've got a little foil circle and a little dog, so I'm going to stick that down now. I just want to point out as well that obviously, as I said before at the beginning, that although this might be, you know, I would class this as an original design because I did actually design the template for this. Okay, so there may well be another shaker card out there that looks like this, but I actually made this and designed this because I've toyed around with having card, actually this being like a little box and having card at the top here and at the bottom there, and then having flaps and stuff, but that worked out too difficult. So this is the design that I've ended up with. So yeah, so I would class this as an original design because I did design it, if you know what I mean. But obviously I'm aware the way that the internet works, sometimes someone can have made something, and then, you know, somebody else does the same thing but doesn't realise. So yeah, this is not me not giving credit to somebody, this is me making my own design. So therefore I'm always a bit wary about saying it's my original design, but I did actually design this, so yeah, there we go. I've said what I've said. Okay, so there's my finished card. I just need to add a sentiment on, but yeah, so that's it really. So it's not too difficult to make. Yeah, it's not too hard. It took me a while to fathom it out because obviously I was doing it from scratch. I was just doing it from an idea I had and then trying to work out how we could make it. But I like the fact that obviously you've got card up the edges here. I was going to put card on the top and the bottom as well. However, it was all a bit difficult to then work out where how you're going to put the sequins in, and so this is probably the best way of doing it. As I said at the beginning, I don't know if this is for me, this is my original design because I've actually made this template up. There might be another one out there. If there is, then fantastic, but I haven't seen anything. As I said, mine just came from an idea where I saw that it was the same shape, as in there was a panel here and then this opened up here, but it wasn't a shaker panel, so I've added that shaker panel in. So yeah, hope you had fun, hope you enjoyed it, hope you have a go, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.